Warm breath washed over your hands before you dug your head into the mass of cloth that wrapped around your neck. The scarf helped in keeping the cold at bay, a strange phenomena that occurred early in the morning, considering the last few days had been nothing but sunshine. Still, you felt content, breathing in the smell of what was Shinsou's room from the scarf you wore. Ever since the beginning of the school year, Hitoshi Shinsou had become a close friend, offering assistance whenever he spotted you clumsily going about your day. Those moments resonated with you, as if they were memories made long ago, but were still fresh in your mind to replay over and over again, despite what level of embarrassment you may have had at the time. And though you were a hero student, the cold demeanor he once held seemed to have melted away over time. It didn't help that you could read his mind every once in a while, but you tried to read him by his actions more so, finding a kindred spirit, quirk-related or otherwise. You stood by the 1A's dormitory's front doors, standing by the patio and watching the light rain sprinkle. You smiled, remembering that one time he offered you an umbrella on the way to school, due to your own forgetfulness at the time. Still, your mind drifted onto other things, hiding your face back into the scarf you wore. What were you going to get him for his birthday? A sigh escaped your lips. Studies were becoming more frequent and labor-inducive that you had all but forgotten to simply take a day to window shop, let alone scroll online for a gift. You even remembered the conversation well, 2 weeks ago in fact, while the both of you made your way to the cafe not too far from the school's premises. Hey, after all this time, I've never asked when your birthday was. Shinsou lazily glanced at you before reaching the cafe doors, a glint of surprise expressed in the way his brows raised at the mention of his birthday.
Well, that's in July,
he replied. When in July? You asked again, pushing a teasing tone in there. That's literally in less than 3 weeks now.
Exactly,
he simply said while he opened the doors for you.
July the 1st.
You turned to look at him while you entered the cafe, a look of bewilderment crossing your face before one of relief replaced it. Oh, well, I'm not too late then.
You don't need to worry,
he reassured, finding a table by the large windows overlooking the street.
I'm not too fussed about my birthday.
You slowly sat down opposite him with a confused look, wondering about his nonchalant response about something that should feel important. But it's your birthday, you reiterated. Surely you're excited about it.
On the contrary, I don't find it significant enough to warrant it as an event.
Your face faltered at his reply. You could imagine why he felt this way. He didn't need to explain himself. Learning about his upbringing and how society had looked down upon his quirk, you assumed, and had been confirmed, that Shinsou didn't have many close friends. No one to celebrate any of his successes, or him, for that matter. The thought that he may have never had a birthday outside of his family seemed lonely. You pulled a crooked smile, standing up from your seat to head for the counter to order before you leaned your head towards his, playfully. Black? Or something smoother this time? You asked. Shinsou quirked a brow before a smile curled on his lips at the sight of you.
Smooth. I don't need an all-nighter tonight.
With that, you twirled around towards the baristas with your coffee orders in mind. You felt a swell of determination after listening to Shinsou's wayward response with a light foot to your step. You were sure to make his birthday a memorable one. You found yourself with your head pressed against one of the pillars on the patio, grumbling under your breath. His birthday was, well, tomorrow. What were you going to do?
Are you okay?
The timid voice that was Izuku Midoriya caught you off guard when you turned your head towards him, looking at you with concern. Your shoulders slumped while you pulled yourself away from the pillar in defeat.
Not really,
you murmured, your eyes downcast.
I'm just a little stumped about what to do with the problem.
What's the matter?
He asked earnestly, while his hands were stuffed in the pockets of his blue jacket.
Well,
You paused for a moment, wondering how to phrase your troubles without being too obvious. Lately everyone had caught on about your friendship with Shinsou, but you knew it was still too early to define it. Just the thought of that made your cheeks flush, and you hoped Midoriya wasn't that observant to notice.
I forgot to buy a present for someone, and I don't know what to get,
you plainly answered, as vague as possible. Midoriya observed your expression, noticing the worry that was etched in your brows, before his own expression turned to one of shock.
Wait, whose birthday is coming up? I didn't realize anyone from our class had one this soon after Kaminari.
You were surprised at Midoriya's slight ramblings. In fact, Kaminari's birthday was yesterday, and it only made you realize that Shinsou's was on its way. You sighed in defeat, noticing the slight panic in Midoriya's eyes.
No.
You reassured him.
No one from our class. It's Shinsou.
You dug your face into the large scarf, still breathing in the remnants of its scent, comforting you.
His birthday is tomorrow, and I haven't made an effort to get him something.
You turned your gaze towards the light sprinkling of the afternoon rain, the sun setting over the buildings in the distance. It was close to the end of the day, and you knew that stores were on the verge of closing their doors.
Well, shops would be closing soon, and it'd be a stretch to reach one for you to have a look,
explained Midoriya, causing your head to hunch in further into the scarf. It was as if he read your mind, causing you to chuckle inwardly. Since when did anyone adopt your quirk in that manner?
Online shopping is a no-go,
he continued, speaking his thoughts out loud.
Does he have plans?
You turned around to face Midoriya from the rain. He was genuinely helping you out with a few brainstorming ideas, and when you thought about his question, you figured that Shinsou may not have had any plans at all. Having him shortly discuss his feelings towards his birthday, you could only assume as much.
I don't think so,
you answered with a slight uncertainty. You didn't even know if he was going to celebrate it with his parents.
Maybe you could arrange something for him,
Midoriya continued.
I'm sure that some of our classmates would pitch in to help if you wanted to hold something here at the dorms.
You smiled at the green-haired boy. Throughout the school years so far, despite his faults in utilizing his quirk, Midoriya was such a kind and giving soul. It warmed your heart whenever he cared for others, regardless if they were from his class or not. You shook your head at his offer, your smile still present.
It's okay, Midoriya.
You reassured.
You've been through a lot over work, study, and we've already done so much for the cultural festival to then hold Kaminari's birthday yesterday.
You wrapped your light jacket around your body, attempting to stave off the chill that was beginning to settle in the evening air.
I'll think of something. Besides, maybe Shinsou isn't one for big parties.
The last thought placed a sad smile on your face, remembering his attitude towards the idea of holding anything for his birthday.
You sure?
Questioned Midoriya, receiving a nod from you.
Yeah, but thanks for the talk.
You replied gratuitously.
It's given me a few ideas to go on.
Well, good luck,
he said before he turned towards the large front doors of the dormitories.
Say hi and happy birthday for me when you see him.
Will do.
You spoke while you watched him walk inside. You lied. You had no idea what to do. Taking him somewhere was a good idea, but the both of you would always make some time during a given week to visit the cafe, whether it was to study or just to chill and hang out. You returned back to the pillar, leaning your head against it while in thought, wondering how to make this birthday a memorable one until it finally dawned on you. You immediately grabbed for your phone, almost fumbling with it while you began searching for the closest points of interest for a certain kind of location. You couldn't contain yourself when you found the perfect place, smiling to yourself and feeling your heart swell inside. You whisper shouted a
Yes!
wishing that you could high-five yourself too.
The hell?
You turned to find Bakugo and Kirishima staring at you in confusion by the dormitory doors, before you nervously smiled at the both of them.
Nothing!
You squealed before you made your way inside, walking past them. Your focus returned to your phone, ignoring the strange looks the boys were giving you, while you plotted out the route and the time to set up for tomorrow.
We've been walking for a while,
commented Shinsou with his hands in his pockets to keep warm.
Are you sure this place is close by?
The both of you had left UA's premises 20 minutes ago, on a route that took Shinsou by surprise. After receiving your impromptu call last night for a lunch out in the city, he had been a bit wary about what godforsaken place you were dragging him to. He was surprised about the fact it wasn't at the usual cafe, like always. He kind of felt out of place, out of his comfort, walking beside you while you peeked at your phone every once in a while to ensure you were going in the right direction.
Well, it was the only one available for me to set a reservation so soon,
you admitted with a nervous grin.
I just think we should try something different, seeing as it's your birthday and all.
I really don't mind,
Shinsou replied while he huddled his shoulders to stave the chill.
We could have just hung out at the usual.
I know, but I want to treat you to something different.
That's what concerns me.
You turned with a small pout before you fixed the scarf around your neck from the cold snap in the air. For what was supposed to be a summer's day, the chill just happened to drop a few degrees more than yesterday. You dug your chin into the thick scarf while you followed the directions on your phone. Meanwhile, Shinsou zipped his jacket only a little to keep the warmth he had inside.
We're here!
You looked up at the cafe's sign with a large smile on your face, while Shinsou followed suit. With his tired expression, dumbfounded, he read the cafe's name fixed atop its large display window. Chat Noir Cafe. And there, from the window, laid a number of cats lounging around inside, snuggling amongst the warmth of the blankets that were strewn across a number of feline furniture. Your smile grew watching all of them sleep, play, and just walk around without a care in the world.
Happy birthday, Shinsou.
You spoke before you turned to the purple-haired boy, finding that his eyes were glued on all of the cats, in awe.
I figured since you haven't really had a birthday with friends that maybe you can make some new ones, even if it is for a day. That and, well, I didn't know how you felt about parties.
All you were met was with silence from him, still staring through the window.
Well, let's get our table inside. I've booked at least half a day with...
Suddenly you were taken by his embrace as he hugged you tightly, the warmth of his body intermingling with yours. He held on to you, his face nuzzling into the thick scarf that surrounded your neck.
Thank you,
he whispered as he nuzzled into your form. After a brief moment of silence, you slowly brought your arms up to him, returning his embrace and feeling his heartbeat against you.
You're welcome,
you replied with a chuckle, a warm smile on your face with one last squeeze of the hug before you pulled away.
Come on, we can't keep them waiting.
As you moved towards the door without thinking, your hand held onto Shinsou's, pulling him towards the entrance. He stared down at them, noticing how your fingers interlaced with his, and without a care in the world for who was watching. It brought a smile to his face. Never had he had anyone who was affronted by him, quirk or otherwise, and here you were, holding his hand, taking him to a cat cafe after many conversations of learning about each other. After situating yourselves in the cafe, being greeted by staff and the like, the both of you enjoyed the company of your newly found feline friends. You found it surprising that they seemed to gravitate towards Shinsou without any care or worry. Well, some were wary of newcomers, or they just simply didn't care for the company, but the handful that approached your table all sat by his feet, or tried to curl up to him. If it wasn't for his quirk, you'd think that...
What are you, the cat whisperer?
You joked, chuckling at Shinsou while one feline walked across his lap. He hummed with a soft smirk, lightly scratching a cat that decided to curl next to him on the cafe bench.
I might be.
You watched as he gave attention to every cat that walked past him by the table. If not for the fact that you were supposed to be enjoying a meal, the sight was just difficult to ignore.
Hey, I've always wondered...
You started, allowing a cat to jump onto your lap and sit.
How exactly did you find Toka?
The mention of his cat perked Shinsou's attention to you before he decided to take a sip of his coffee, making sure to watch out for any sudden movements, just in case.
I mean, I'm surprised that the school council allowed you to keep her.
You continued.
They don't know she exists,
he admitted, causing you to double take, knowing the implications of the matter.
Wait, what? You've been harboring a fugitive this whole time?
Shinsou quirked a brow at your comment before his lips turned into a smirk. chuckling under his breath.
Sometimes you surprise me, but if you put it that way, yes, I have. But for good reason. I found her during the first month of school.
Found her? It was your turn to quirk a brow at that response. The thought that Shinsou was breaking a school ruling could jeopardize his chances of moving up in the system, but to say that he found Toka would mean that...
But that's a story for another day.
He ended, taking you out of your thoughts.
I'll share it with you if you can best me in one thing today.
Great. Another challenge. For someone who seemed lethargic yet focused, you learnt that Shinsou was one for some fun and games. You wouldn't have thought that when you first met him, but he warmed up to you. And you were glad he did. However, you had told yourself you would never use your quirk to be ahead of others, unless it was for practicing your skill. And this was not the scenario that called for it.
Like?
You questioned warily.
Well, I spoke to one of the staff here, and they said that they have their most notorious cat who never warms up to anyone.
Why did you get the feeling you knew where this was going?
First one to get him to warm up wins. If you win, I'll share Toka's story.
And if you win?
Shinsou's smirk grew, and his tired demeanor betrayed the next words he spoke.
I get to hold your hand all the way back to school.
It was a strange request, but you couldn't help but feel the heat crawl up your neck after hearing it. Why was this your reaction to something so mundane? You cleared your throat, trying to hide your reaction from Shinsou before you turned to him with a determined expression.
You're on.
A chuckle escaped Shinsou's throat before he pointed to a large cat lounging on one of the cat trees in the cafe.
There's the target,
he informed.
And no using catnip if you find any. That's considered bribing.
You giggled with a playful smile, watching Shinsou do the same. Needless to say, you saw him light up in front of you, readying to play this little game of his in the warmth of the cafe, surrounded by feline friends everywhere. Until he stood up, his face close to yours.
Thank you for the birthday, kitten.
You watched his smirk appear before he made his way towards the cat in question, gaining a head start. Needless to say, you couldn't hide your reaction this time around.